when we first started working together, both of us were quite small. You've now blown up. Like, I think when we started work, you might only have had like about 10,000 followers on Instagram, maybe a little bit more. Now, how many do you have now? It's like over 100, isn't it?
It'd be like 350K.
300.
Oh, fucking hell. Every time I check it, I go, Mike from North Borders is killing it.
I mean, the difference is, I guess, because I'm going to guess your audience is a bit more Australian based because of Nebs and a lot of things you've done in the past with the Australian news and stuff. You attract a more Australian culture, right, to your audience, right? But like I was saying before, we're only so big and there's only so many of us literally in our age group that find what we do interesting, right? So obviously you're not, it's not that you're capped because there's always going to be new people, but like in a way compared to the rest of the world, if you're doing very Australian content, you're more or less attract Australians, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's because I'm a photographer and I can shoot anything, I'm attracting an international audience. Therefore, it's a bit easier for me to grow in that sense because anyone can appreciate a photo.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That's kind of what I've learned is like, I was only doing Australian stuff, which you have to do to blow up and find your crowd. And then I started kind of just doing maybe like 50-50 just to attract the rest of the world.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Because in Australia there is a cap. It's like once you hit that, it's like, all right, well, you might get a few thousand people every now and then.
All the bogans, them all. Like they're all there.
So what's changed like since you move from like a small good photographer on Instagram to like this giant thing now? What's changed for you? Because you have like a YouTube channel now as well.
Yeah. So
you became like a personality. That's what changed, I think, is like you put your face in front of it.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest thing that changed it as well was being in the YouTube photography scene. There's not a lot of, I mean, there are now growing now, which is awesome. And you can see that they take inspiration from what me and the boys do as well, which is awesome to see people like getting on camera. Cause it's not an easy thing to do. Like I know you boys do it as well, to jump on camera.
Yeah.
You're not always in the headspace to do it as well.
Well, especially when like, I'm assuming here, but especially when you obviously start photography because you want to be behind the camera, right?
Yeah.
And often the type of person who wants to be behind the camera doesn't want to be in front of it, obviously.
Yeah.
A bit more introverted or a bit more technical because like sometimes we've worked with freelancers and stuff that they want to be in front of the camera and we kind of recognize that, they're not the best behind the camera because they want to be in front of it. So it would be, the opposite. It can sometimes be true, I suppose, like with people who like want to be behind, it can be tough to fucking reverse and go, all right, well now I'm in front too.
Yeah, exactly. And what's hard about it as well is when you're on a photo shoot, especially when you're by yourself, it's hard to jump between filmmaking and photography because it's two very different things to be able to do is taking a photo and trying to get the composition right, but then also you got to flip the camera around and talk about what you're trying to do. And it can take away sometimes from what you're actually trying to do. So finding the balance there was a bit hard at the start, finding out how I wanted to make my videos and all that sort of stuff. I wasn't very much a filmmaker. I wasn't that savvy with Premiere as I am now, obviously, but just comes with time. And I've been thoroughly enjoyed doing what I'm doing to the point now where I'm fully self-sufficient off what I do. So I don't need to take on other jobs. Although like I will take on private work like that I can make into a YouTube video. So maybe like I've had some jobs last year with Lamborghini, but they've reached out to me and I've done some work for them, which then I can make into a YouTube video and be like,
so that's just like, that's just a good photo to upload as well. Like that's also just improves your brand.
Yeah, exactly. And being a part of Lamborghini and then that led into other jobs because Bentley and Lamborghini are rivaling with a lot of their cars that they're making at the moment. So when Bentley see that that Lamborghini's using me, then I got approached by Bentley and I got to do some work with them.
That's sick.
Cool. And then it was like Bentley and Lamborghini like fighting over me for a bit. So I was like doing work for like both of them.
That's some hot girl shit, dude.
Yeah, it was just
awesome.
So I got to do a lot of work with like some sick cars and be like paid to do it and like be wanted to come on and do it and stuff. And I can make YouTube videos about it. So it's gotten to an awesome level like that where I've been able to like take on jobs that I want to take on. But as you know, it takes a while to get to the position where you can be like, all right, now this is what I want to take on board and these are the projects that I want to do.
Yeah, so I went on that tour. Like it was the three of us, right? It was Lewis's Try and Stop Me tour, and that was the tour that I was opening for Lewis. And then Mike was the photographer and videographer. And dude, Mike works so fucking hard. Like he'd be on the way to the gigs, like editing, like new pictures. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I have to get a photo up tonight. I'm like, just do it tomorrow. And he's like, yeah, but I post every day. Like, and it was just so, and it was like that attitude is like why you're successful. Yes. Like, I think people always go like, oh, how do people even get, it's like, because you just wake up and go, what can I do this morning? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same for all of us. It's like, you also believe that you could never not do it. It's just part of it. You know,
it's like, because like, what else would you be doing?
What else exactly? What else would you actually be doing? Honestly, like for some people, it's hard because they don't know exactly what direction they want to go in.
Yeah,
it's like some people just lack that direction. Whether it's like if you,
I think some people lack motivation and self-confidence to do.
That's true as well. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of different variables that take for each person. That's why it's hard to give advice and that sort of stuff because it actually comes down to the individual.
Yes.
And what you want to do. I mean, that's why I find like all these business guru people funny. Like, you can't tell someone how to run their business. The only thing you can say is you need to try, like for yourself, because you could be in the same industry, but you can't tell someone exactly how you're going to run the business to make it successful. You need to figure that out.
Yeah, that is true. I think especially of creative things, because like I'm sure you could tell me a bunch of amazing things and tell me how to be a great photographer, but I don't really want to do it. It might be a little bit cool, but you're not going to get there unless you've because I think you need to find your interest, and a lot of people don't find their interest, or they stop looking and trying different things. So then they go, oh, I guess I'm not meant to do anything. But if you keep trying new things and weird things, like you will find something. It could be fucking rock climbing or whatever.
Yeah.
And when you find that thing, you'll go, oh, this is the thing. I don't want to do anything other than that. And sometimes I feel really lucky that I knew when I saw comedy at 12, I was like, I want to do that. I want to be on stage. And sometimes I feel lucky that I was exposed to that by my mom. Like, imagine if I didn't find it stand up until I was like 40 or 50 or whatever and go, oh, fuck, I want to do that.
And then, you're a fucking accountant and you got a family and kids and it's hard to...
Yeah, it's hard to pivot. But sometimes it does happen. Like Bill Burr started really late. There's a bunch of other comedians that have become greats that didn't begin it until they were in their 30s or sometimes even 40s. So, sometimes, honestly, when people go, oh, I don't know what I should do with my life, it's like, well, I don't know. So go try shit.
Exactly, man. There's actually no rush as well because everyone is on their different path, which is important to understand that as well, because I think the worst thing, because I get a lot of people telling me that, or comparing themselves to my work and stuff and being like, I'm never going to be that good or whatever. But I mean, I was once a beginner at like I was saying before when I started North Borders.
You've shown me the first part of your feed, like, and you can scroll down and watch it. Like you can see Mike get better over time.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's just because like I genuinely want to try, and I'm not actually trying to get better. I'm actually just going out and taking photos. I'm actually just enjoying what I'm doing, and I'm not worrying about where I'm trying to be at. Because that's what I hate. Like back in school, it's like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Well, I don't even know what I'm doing tonight. Like far out. Like like you just gotta take each day as it comes, especially when it comes to creative work. Just focus on each project and just devote that time into each project, and as you grow, just mature as a human being, you'll slowly figure out what you like to do. You'll have a bit more direction, and then it's just the amount of speed. How fast do I want to do this? How hard do I
honestly, it's speed is a huge thing. Like perfectionism is what fucking ruins you. Like I struggled with it heaps back when a few years ago. I would do I mean, the videos I was doing were great, but I would do them once every 2 months, and it just killed me. And the minute I switched from it has to be so much better than the last one, and the last one killed me to do, and I just went, all right, I'm just going to try for a couple of months, good enough. And the minute I did that, the videos started going better, and they actually started getting better because I wasn't going, oh, fuck, is this good enough? Should I even film this one? Or is the script good enough? I was like, man, I'm just going to go with the good enough motto. And I've done that for years now. It's the best thing I ever did. And doing that allows you to save that like perfectionist mindset for really big, important projects. So like my comedy special was when I was like, all right, this can't be good enough. This one has to be really good. But, I only got to that level because I was able to just put out all the other shit with the good enough mindset. And then also I could focus on this thing that had to be amazing, but I didn't have to drop everything else because I could just keep it running because I figured out how to make it easy and efficient, I guess.
But it took time to get just to that mindset. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I'm trying to say is people that they look at that and they be like, oh, Lewis Spears, like he's so successful and he has done all these things and look at all these videos that he's made. And they compare like, there's like a saying, it's like, don't compare someone's chapter 10 to your chapter 1. You know what I mean? I love that because it's like, it's so true. Like you can't just look at someone who is successful and be like, well, I'm not going to be like that. But you're not because, they're their own sort of entity and you need to go off and find your own thing that you like. But it starts by taking that first step and not trying to be a perfectionist because that's what kills you. But it's hard to say that to someone when they're starting out because they don't even know what's perfect yet.
Well, what is, you know what I always thought was really cool about like watching Mike on tour was he was such a fucking nerd about it. Like we would go out to like bars and stuff and he'd bring his little camera bag in case he saw a cool light. Yeah. Like at a bar, like literally, like if he saw like a cool neon. I remember like we were in an alleyway. Do you remember that? We were in an alleyway in like Ballarat, and they had their like white night on or something like that. And Mike was like, "Stand there, stand there, stand there." I was like, "What?" And he goes, "Just be on your phone, like shine the phone light." On your face. There's this photo of me where I'm just like pretending to text, and he's like sitting there, and he's like, "Oh, that's fucking good." Like, and that is why I think you're successful is because you could have just left the camera in the car and had a fun night. Yeah, you were just like, I find it fun to just take it with me. And
obviously, as I've matured now, I understand that there needs to be a difference between actually going out and enjoying some time with your mates and stuff and not trying to work, even if it's not work. I don't see it as work, but it is still work. Like, it's important to take a break from these things as well and just enjoy life. But I mean, at the start, because I couldn't have known, like, you couldn't have known that until you realize that you actually burn yourself out.
Oh, you have to burn yourself out. You got to do that and go insane and then go, oh shit,
you learn.
What am I doing? Yeah.
You definitely learn because you need to find that balance between, you realize that your health and your friends and your family is like, that's what you really got. And this is still like, although it's your work, it's still your passion, but you need to find that balance.